pan out? Are we still going kind of down the rabbit hole of unorthodox focus, or are we going back to the meta ban? So far, Fanny has had a lot more presence on that ban list since yesterday.
Yeah, Fanny is definitely a must ban, right? It's definitely S tier all the way reason. But Martis ban, please, somebody pick it. No, I don't know. Now, seeing how the draft is as well, I think Xavier is something that we may not consider as first phase ban, but it's something to be respected as well. Fredrin definitely going to be taken out from PBN Strike. Glue is something that I think they should seriously consider, considering how I think in the game previously as well, we saw how they brought in the Cho as well as Glue, two very, very annoying displacement heroes, which you can just, very similar to a Franco hook, which is very detrimental as well. Kaja Divine Judgment is also a great way to deal with it. I think that's one of the ideas that you want to play around. You want to go for those guys, pick off potential, force them out of position, and just completely shut them down. And in this case, Hayabusa being banned from the PBN Strike. I'm not particularly a big fan of Hayabusa bans, but in the right hands, it's one of the craziest heroes to play. It's one of the top tier, highest mechanically skilled, required hero to play.
Yeah, and it's just very, just those high skill ceilings, but when played right, it is just like a ninja. You can catch him. And so Esports, again, Kaja ban and Valentina. It's good to see Kaja being shown a lot more love in that ban phase. You know, the value has really been shown. I think she was picked twice yesterday, and both games that Kaja were playing resulted in a win. It just has one of those game-winning ultimates. You know, kind of like your Cho, your Franco, but in this case, I think PBN Strike now having that first pick. A lot of heroes on the available. You know, Glue, Carry, Joy. That's gonna get picked up.
Yeah, Joy going to be first pick coming from PBN Strike. Sway Esports still considering whether or not they want to go for that Glue as well as the Carry pickup. Personally, I like both of them. Just bring so much value. Carry early game engagement is one of the, I would say in this current patch, the fastest power spike out of all the carries now. But Sway Esports, they stick with the Kadita instead, so that's going to be the first pick. Kadita. Johnson still available if they decide to go for it, but Sway Esports, they may consider ignoring the Johnson and just straight up go for the Kufra here, just to make sure that Joy doesn't have the greatest of time. But it seems like Sway Esports will double down on Esmeralda to take advantage of the shields being brought up by Joy.
Yeah, it's that's an example that we saw in the previous series. Evo against GameLab, it's Esmeralda into Joy. We saw the interaction. It was in that mid game. Obviously, Esmeralda would have a slightly better time, but it also was because the Joy decided to go full magic, right? Now we see that Ruby getting picked up. First pick for Ruby in the broadcast so far. Haven't seen it. Where does this Ruby stand?
Ooh, okay. I've talked about how I would say pickoff is very, very important, right? I talked about how Franco, you know, heroes like Franco, heroes like Kaja is great in going for engagements. Ruby acts very, very similarly. But at the same time, I think the idea of having this Ruby is just to make sure that this Esmeralda doesn't get super out of control. Like every time it gets displaced, it is going to kind of stop Esmeralda in tracks where he's just not going to be able to time his spells properly against the right targets, right? So it's going to keep the Esmeralda from diving the backlines. In this case, it is going to buy enough time for Joy to actually cut the backline. So I get that is where is the idea coming in from PBN Strike. Going for the Brody is a safety precaution as well. It can work against any kind of dive compositions. Against a Kadita, not necessarily, but it does buy you a little bit more time for him to actually survive this. So I kind of like it, but Sway Esports not going to go for the carry, going for the Melissa instead. Not a big fan, but still, it does stop the Joy from getting right on your face.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, carry has completely been ignored thus far, right? Not really banned out, not really picked. Akai and Lunox, the next two to be taken out by both teams. And obviously for Sway Esports, they're looking at a mage, right? It's the Eve. Maybe it's going to be the next choice that they want to ban out. If not the Eve, maybe the Farsa. But I feel like if you are Sway Esports, you are just going to make sure that PBN Strike doesn't get a mage that can go into late game. Honestly, Savior is not a bad ban.
I think Lilia isn't too bad. Like, considering that if you compare Eve compared to the rest, right? These are heroes that can be one-shotted by Kadita. But whereas if you go for heroes such as Lunox, where every single time he comes in, you just go in for the Brilliance, you just completely whiff the entire Petrify. But Sway Esports, they double down on the Paramis instead. Not a big fan, but Archive being banned from PBN Strike, expecting potential jungle Archive that can mess up the Joy here. They should be double downing on banning on Kufra in case Sway Esports decide to pick it up. Not sure they are or will they not, but as of yet, I think that's a safety net coming in from PBN Strike, considering that if they do not know each other's playstyle.
The draft's still pretty much open for Sway Esports, right? Like, there are so many options to go for, but I do agree. I second the thought that maybe the Kufra is a good consideration for PBN Strike to take out. And it's going to be the Esther, so both teams kind of making sure that you don't get that fight sustained. Sway with Farm is banned, PBN Strike with the Esters. This is where the playing field becomes absolutely open. So Esports have so many choices to go for.
Estes pickup. Oh, this is okay. This is an awkward situation.
Is this a Kadita role?
Like I think, yeah, this is definitely a Kadita role coming from Sway Esports. I can see this happening as well. We've seen double mage compositions across the regions. Not many teams play it. I think previous season Orange Esports kind of play a lot of double mage compositions, but currently in this season, I feel like it's still viable. It's not that great. I get that Xavier was kind of forced because, well, the circle encampment kind of stops Joy from doing the things it's required, right? It's just right there in the middle. Every time you pass by, you are going to get stunned. So in this case, it kind of limits the mobility of Joy to a certain degree to cut the back line. So I get that Sway Esports wants to double down on it, but they really need a strong front line. In this case, they're most likely going to be leading on a tank jungler. Baratz isn't too bad, not a big fan of it. Baxia isn't too bad, not a big fan of it as well. Kufra jungle, we haven't seen that too much, but in the right circumstances, it's great. But in this case, I don't think it's the most ideal one, especially when you're going up against a Roger jungler coming from PBN Strike.
Yeah, I'm just surprised, right? Roger and Ruby, two heroes that first time they got picked, haven't seen it before. That Martis comes out. Your favorite, we have the Martis jungle. I believe yesterday it was also a Martis jungle that we saw in that second series, but right now it's going to be the second time we see that Martis. Is the function still the same though against the combo PBN Strike?
Yeah, I think, okay, see, that's the thing, right? They need two front liners, right? They went for a double mage composition, means that they need a stronger, tankier jungler as well as an XP laner, which right now, based on the conditions, Sway Esports has that. So that means they are going to be playing a lot of mid-control tempo, playing around where Kadita and Xavier is going to be going for the one-shot. Whoever Kadita catches, Xavier pops up a secondary stun. It's going to buy enough time for a potential decimation, which is a very nice idea. But for PBN Strike's vicinity, they're going to be looking for a pick-off compositions where they need to rely on Ruby's I'm Offender to set up, or maybe hope that the Roger gets a lot of jumps and leaps forward to actually get a lot of kills here. So two very different approaches in the playstyle, but I definitely like PBN's one a little bit more. But at the same, no, sorry, I like Sway Esports one a little bit more, even though I'm voting on PBN.
Let's see how game one is going to turn out. Again, second upper bracket series of the night. PBN Strike Indonesia, Sway Esports from the Philippines. We are, at least, I guess this Martis pick also accomplishes something where you really stop this Joy from moving around too much in these fights. Immunity to crowd control also helps out when you want to get close to something like a Farsa. Aroskai trying to get away. Nanami is going to be on his tail. Just making sure this Esmeralda doesn't cause too much problems for this Roger. Very important for him to get both that orange and purple buff, get going, and we'll just start building up those, start that snowball. They're doing a good job. They kept Haroskai out of the jungle.
Yeah, it seems like things are going to be turning for South here for now. A little bit of aggression coming from Sway Esports, a pretty early flicker coming from Horoski. But at the same time, PBN Strike, they are going to be looking to play a little bit safe, considering that they need to buy time against Sway Esports with the fact that Nanami needs to come online a little bit more. But as soon as I say it, they get a really nice engagement. They might actually finish off the Kadita. However, the passive does keep them alive, so they are going to lose first blood. And now Sway Esports is going to try and return the favor. They lose Yu Jang, and it's going to be the Farsa down for this first turtle fight.
Yeah, and just very good response from Sway Esports, getting that first blood. Going over to Cavs, that is the Martis, so even better as this turtle spawns right now. Obviously, you want to be in that lead as the Martis. It's just kind of a bonus. Razor is going to show up in that top lane. Lezanzai actually getting out, but Lovescar, he's going on his 1v2 journey. He doesn't care. Now Ryzer is going to jump onto him. Lovescar's trying to duke it out, at least get a trade back, but not able to find the blood. Oh, playing with life on the edge. Actually gets out. Turtle goes over to Sway.
Not exactly sure where the confidence is coming from Luscars, but he did a lot of damage against PBN Strike. Forcing this top rotation means that Sway Esports will be able to secure the turtle down bottom just now. So a little bit of distraction what if could have in this situation, but we do see a little bit of snipes coming in from Sway Esports, sending the Martis down towards the orange buff. And this is why Martis is so strong early game. You can go for this invades and get a completely unpunished or get out of the safety. So this is something that PBN Strike, they're definitely getting caught off guard in terms of jungle rotation. However, they lose Blood and Zali on the top side as well, and now Sway Esports is going to return the favor. They finally lose the roaming Kadita, but PBN Strike now, they need to find a way to equalize right now because their cores are not doing so well on the side.
Off screen just now, Blood Anzai actually got sniped, I believe, by the Xavier. Across the map, I think he didn't recall after that engagement and just got absolutely killed off. Leone is gonna at least help out this Roger to invade that jungle just a little bit. Making sure that Sway Esports doesn't get control, but just look at the bottom lane. Haroski, he is cutting that wave in between the inhibitor and tier 2.
This is tough. This is really, really tough indeed. But at the same time, here comes the catch, and they do get the one as well. Sway Esports completely annihilate Yuji Ching again. And now, Joy coming in with the ultimate as well, as Haruski is going to be training him 50-50. This feels like a wet noodle fight between the XP laners. But in this case, Nanami does have the vengeance available. Kev's going to be looking for the steal, and I don't think he got it, so it feels bad. But this Martis going to be very disruptive very, very soon.
Pretty even state so far. Bottom lane, Haroski is just not letting up on this pressure. Now Cavs is here. Nanami doesn't have much help to work with. Cavs just need to get in range for that decimation. But he's going to farm a bit of that turret shield first. Nanami able to just outmaneuver both of them. But off screen again, another execution. Break even with that kill onto Yojichenko. That's the third death for this Farsa. And Nanami just did stagger in terms of their recall. Haroshi, he is just being absolutely relentless. Nanami, just don't be greedy. Just back up a bit more for it. Finally decides to take the safe route.
No, he harassed him!
And
No,
gets
he
the
got
kill.
the kill! No way! Haroski! What a man, what a chance. So much space created. Feels bad for Nanami because Sway Esports now is just completely dominating on all fronts. Meanwhile, PBN Strike, however, is forcing the issue with this turtle fight, and it seems like it's not gonna work out. But now with the dawning light coming in, Leone needs to back off. Kadita goes for the Ocean Breath, but they eventually pick up Lini with the Esmeralda help. Haroski finishes them all, but he doesn't have the mana or the health to sustain through his life, as PBN will continue to go for a couple of pickoffs here. The Martis plays coming from Cams. He gets the snipe before he gets out, and now he's gonna completely bail out of the fight, and that is why you pick up Martis jungle, ladies and gentlemen. That is why.
Yeah, and at the same time, unfortunately for Rizzo, he is just so deep. Gets pushed away by Kevs. 7-3 so far, but only a 2,000 gold deficit. All things considered, not exactly the worst for PB and Strike. It kind of looks to neutralize the game state.
This is interesting coming from Kivs, considering that, hold that thought for now. Here comes the IMO Fender on the top side. Love Scar is going to get completely torn apart as PBN Strike. They will get a little bit of frags here. It's just blast after blast, fights after fights across the map. Now Kevs will continue with more. Leone going to be caressed his way through. He's got the decimation. He gets the pick off. And that's going to be his way. He was bouncing back with the jungler, driving the momentum for the team.
Absolutely just 3-0, super dominant so far. And there's a secondary problem for PBN Strike. Haroski is starting to get out of control on this Esmeralda. Completely uncontested in the bottom lane. Nanami doesn't want to deal with him, but you don't want to put the Roger there as well. It's taking away so much agency from PBN Strike. And look at this gang squad up top. Oh, Leone, he's not going to make it there in time. The Nami and Blazanzai, they will get the top tier 1, but they might lose both their lives. Cavs is going to go in for the engage. They want to get a trade on to break even. This Kadita able to buy a bit of time. The Vengeance Juice execution from the decimation comes out from Cavs. The Nami also goes down to Love Scars. It's 2 free kills for Sway Esports.
Yeah, but at the same time as well, down on the top side, Cavs is going to try and going for a little bit more momentum. Meanwhile, he is going to try and dive this more. There's nothing much PBN Strike can do at this stage until they hit those timings. But at the same time, bottom side turtle is going to be up for open. Sway Esports already making their way and efforts down bottom. So they've got to make quick work with this. The Roger is starting to hit hard, but the turtle placement is just completely disrupt with this aggression here. Esmeralda, Haroski looking for the push as well. They can't seem to fight the pickup, but PBN is still barely holding on as a Haroski just zoning PBN out of the base, and this is going to be a free turtle for Cavs to secure. Better Ezra has been expended as well, but they're just a little bit too low to commit to this fight.
And this turtle easily secured by Sway Esports, and while that was happening, the fight continues in that middle lane. Haroski, he is still full health, and here comes Cavs. Watch out for the reset. They lose break even, but Cavs is unstoppable. That dotting line pierces 3 members of PBN Strike. Cavs and Haroski now starting to get forced back. A Xavier crowd control right there in the stun. Cavs looking for the third. They're going to try and re-engage onto the smartest, but Cavs out of the picture. It's an even trade down mid.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe that what actually happened. So Esports, they completely played this game in a favor where they synced all their spells and timed perfectly to get them skills. But interesting enough, the Martyrs coming from Kev, actually first item Blade of Despair instead of the Malefic Roar or Fury Hammer, etc. And then now shifting towards a tank composition. So it's interesting for him to actually see this kind of itemizations, considering that Malefic Roar is a little bit stronger, but I guess he really wants to increase the threshold of the Decimation to suit his needs instead of what we're known for, those Malefic Roar builds. So I guess it's an interesting approach, and it's actually working out in his favor.
Yeah. And it's so much easier to pull off when the members of PBN Strike aren't exactly the beefiest. When you get the execution going, it just makes you such a bigger threat, and it's not the hardest for him to access the backline, right? Both Bloodsanzai and Yojichenko, they don't really have a way to stop this Martyrs, especially with that crowd control immunity. Life is going to be a bit hard. Leone, able to dash away.
Yep. As soon as they do find break even, finding a very nice pickoff. They get the marksman, but at the same time, this is a roaming Kadita. Even if he's pays with his life, it doesn't really matter, because as of yet, Sway Esports is dumpstering the middle turret. The Dawning Light comes in, PBN Strike, what can they do? The Roger coming in, he's got to find a little bit more of a snowball approach, but it's going to be tough. Antikira's purchase of an Harsky means that Lini, Razel, as well as Bloods is not going to have a good time fighting at all.
Lord has now spawned. So far, it is Sway Esports in the driver's seat. Almost a 4k goal advantage. Jungle being invaded by Haroski. Cavs, he has already started up on that Lord Temp with 3 of his teammates backing him up. PBN Strike, Leone they sees this happening. I don't feel like they're going to do anything though. The Roger is too far away, and Haroski, he is just doing zoning duty, Dawning Light just for safety measures. Easy Lord going over to Sway Esports.
Yeah, absolutely nothing can be done as well. Glowing one purchase, albeit under the roaming Kadita, just to have that a little bit of edge of passing abilities to chip through away at the defense coming from PBN Strike. But I don't think they can do much. It all comes down to whether or not Nanami is going to be able to stall time for a team. He's got the first item glowing one, means that he's not as tanky as we expect him to be. So this is going to be a long drawn out fight for PBN Strike if they want to make a comeback to this, which obviously is going to take at least 4 to 5 minutes time. And when that happens, they need to try and keep up into the economy. In this case, Sway Esports with the 3k economy is going to be extremely difficult to do so. With now break even, setting up ambush, they cannot afford to make mistakes right here, right now.
Yeah, completely cutting off that bottom side of the map for PBN Strike. Cavs, isolated. Leone so far is got knocked out. We're nearing that threshold. Leone is going to get executed. Actually not getting the reset. Lovescar is the one who picked it up, but still a man advantage over Sway Esports. Morse just destroyed, demolished that top tier 2, so Esports setting up the waves to crash on the dead inhibitor. Yeah,
this is very, very difficult indeed. But at the same time, PBN Strike on the top side, they're focusing on the Lord, but the Lord down to 20%. I don't think Sway Esports matters about this. They are going to get an inhibitor regardless of what happened, but it's just whether or not which direction. But in this case, it's not happening because PBN, they somehow managed to clear off the minion waves, and Sway Esports, they just back out. This is actually favoring PBN a little bit more. Yeah, not the best case scenario, right? The waves were not synced. They had the feather airstrike, so it was easy to burst down that, burst down the Lord. The Nanami Vengeance use damage reduction is there. Leone just buying time with his body. Sway Esports not getting a kill. Good news for PBN. Oh, so annoying to actually push out the lane. Like, logically, PBN Strike, they have the frontliners to stand in front, but when your frontliner from the side of Sway Esports gets one-shotted by a Kadita, that's something that they have to worry about. So it's going to be extremely hard for them to open the map unless they get a little more items. And Sway Esports, slowly but surely, they are going to lose their threshold, especially in terms of damage, because of the fact that their main late-game damage output is going to come in from Barbie Chi, whereas Break Even can easily be countered with the Athena Shield / Radiant Armor. And in this case, PBN Strike might be looking for that opportunity as they are building up some items as well. We do see a Tina Shield being purchased by Leonie as well. Needs possibly a Radiant Armor a little bit more before they can actually progress. But slowly but surely, PBN Strike, they are getting some sort of damage coming in from both the marksman's core of PBN Strike. But for how long can they hold on?
Maybe just long enough for the next Lord to spawn. 20 seconds. Sway Esports once more setting up. Oh, this Martis has been phenomenal so far. Uh-oh, they call Leonie again. Flicker, use, Love Skull.
No way.
Dashes forward, doesn't find it, but they might lose the Roger plus Anza. You gotta get out. Actually, the Brody is the one in danger. Nanami now helping out. Haroski too far forward. Rezo comes right through, looking for a trade. Doesn't get it.
No.
Haroski walks away.
No, he could have went for it, but he did not want the risk. He knew for a fact that PBN Strike's win condition is to buy time. Unfortunately to say, Sway Esports, because they walked away with that scot-free, they are going to get the Lord completely free as well. They even popped the Dawning Light to scare him off. PBN Strike now in the backseat once again. Oh, feels bad for PBN Strike, but they tried their best because right now it's all about buying time, while Sway Esports is all about stepping up with their pressure.
Yeah, playing it really, really safe. I mean, all the couple of members from PBN Strike were literally in the red. Had to blow the flickers, so they won't have that for the next potential fight for this defense. So they are looking to lose at least one inhibitor turret. The waves finally synced up by Sway Esports. It's going to crash on all three angles. This is going to be a tough defense. The Lord will take priority. Leonie, he's doing his best. Mid wave cleared out. Bottom wave needs attention, and with the Lord charge, that inhibitor is most likely going to go down. The Nami is going to walk on forward, instantly forced to retreat. As Warichi also keeping Leonie in place. Sway Esports getting so much lead. The Dawning Light also used as well. 2 inhibitor turrets secured.
Yeah, Nanami having a very difficult time to cut the back lines because of the go away coming from the Melissa. But as of yet, they're still sinking the minions as much as they can. But literally, no, from behind, look at this. Bracky, man, he's looking for the pickoff. He's going to go for it as well. The Petrify comes in. The ultimate barely takes him down, but he's going to die to this. There's no damage. And finally, PBN Strike, they bounced back. They found the timings. They got the kills. They got 4 men because of this defense. And Sway Esports, they lose their power spike. And this is the comeback they were looking for as well. PBN Strike with double marksmen. They got the timings. They can tank the initial burst of the Kadita. And now they're looking for the home run. They're going to try and do it. 15 seconds on the sidelines. And Sway Esports, they're going to bounce back. They're throwing in the Esmeralda. They're going to lose his life. And it's going to be a wipeout with 5 seconds left. How the hell did this happen? PBN Strike all the way from Indonesia just make the biggest miracle comeback I've seen so far. And they take game 1 against the Philippines.
Victory!
I am absolutely speechless because Sway Esports completely threw that game away. Got 2 inhibitors, top and mid. Dives bot, sends a roaming Kadita with concealed to the backlines when they were not even